When I was about 10 years of age, I was unlucky enough to see a mathematical phobia get installed on a girl in school. And I remember we were sitting around the table, and I'm going to call her, this girl Anna, that's not her real name, and she couldn't calculate the percentage. So there she was, attempting to calculate the percentage, and she couldn't get it. And as she couldn't get it, I saw the frustration build inside her. And I saw the fear build inside her. And I was only 10, and I was just looking in from the outside. And then a teacher came along and really did probably the worst thing that anybody could do to another human being. And somehow in the teacher's perverse mind, to help her, she'd made her stand on the chair in front of the whole class and saying, "Now work it out. Now work it out." Of course, the body shuts down. The mind goes into parasympathetic arousal. And if the mind goes into sympathetic arousal, fight or flight kicks in. And if fight or flight kicks in, when it comes to mental cognition, you really are at your weakest. And she just couldn't get it, and tears streamed down her face. Now, bunches of 10-year-olds are pretty unforgiving people. They don't necessarily empathise with people. You can imagine the setting of a bunch of 10-year-olds generally laughing at the situation. The more they laughed, the more she went inside. Back then, even then, I didn't find that very funny. And that was probably, I wouldn't say it was my first run-in with authority, but it was one of my first major run-ins with authority, where I really had done a lot of trouble that day. I'm quite proud actually that I ended up in a lot of trouble that day. And nobody had ever spoken to that teacher the way I spoke to her. And back then used to hit us as well. I ended up over the teacher's knee in front of the whole class. And the more she hit me on the arse, the more I abused her verbally. It really was a no-win situation for both of us. It's only so hard they can hit you until it stops hurting. Yeah? So the more, and she really got it. So these are one of these situations that kind of help shape you, I think, as people. It certainly shaped Anna. It certainly shaped me. I've always had quite an abhorrence of anyone who I seem to think to be a bully, or who takes advantage in any way of people who are quite weaker than them in any given situation. I've really had quite a really strong dislike for that. So I wind the clock on 30 years nearly now, and I still know Anna. She's got married, I got married, we've got kids. These things every now and again, discussions of youth get brought up at barbecues, family celebrations, whatever it may be. And one day I had to go around the house, and I said, "Where's Martin?" And she said, they ran their own business together. She said, "He's upstairs doing the accounts." Very well. And I said, "Why?" I said, "I made a joke." I said, "Oh, you get out of that one." And she thought, "What?" She said, "You know me in maths." And for a moment, she was 10. And I said, "You still got that?" And I was just at the time getting into NLP and running these courses. I said, "You still got that?" Just don't talk about it, she said. So I said, "I'm running a course, which happened to be it was a one-day breakthrough course." And I said, "People can come along and really tackle things they need to move on." And I said, "Do you want to come along with it?" She said, "Yeah." So she came along on this course, and lo and behold, everybody's given one of these boards, not these particular ones, and was asked to write down their outcomes and what they needed to break through. And as I looked on a board, on the other side there was a picture of a young girl standing on a chair, and underneath it said, "Overcome the maths phobia." So, interestingly enough, on these courses, what happens is you go through a series of exercises, and everybody gathers around in a circle, around a little structure like this. The idea being, you is the person's going to come and break the board. Now, Anna's very slight, 5'2", probably a size 8, very slender. It's not a strange thing. The guy, we've done the previous build-ups, and all the guys are there, the men, particularly the big ones, are into their strength issues. They're running a pattern. What happens if the people around me break this board easily? Women, kids, and me as a macho man don't. You can see them there like, oh, whoa, getting into their macho-like states. And on this particular board break day I was running, we had two types of board, thin boards and thick boards. And we had thick boards left over from a previous seminar where we had ordered the wrong boards. And these great big, they're like scaffold plates, came in. They were not quite that thick, but they were far thicker than our usual style boards. And they got mixed in with the boards we were using on this course. And I said to somebody, I put them away, let's just work with the boards that normally we use, which are nearly an inch thick. So, lo and behold, Anna's managed to find one of these really thick boards. But now, she's there in front of this structure, and I said, as if we've gone through the exercise in terms of people getting built up, they build themselves up, they build themselves up. I said, now who wants to go first? So, guess who's got a hand up? I said, I'll do it. I'll do it. And so people in the group are shifting uncomfortably. And do you know what? Do you know when you look at someone and you can see it in their eye, and there is just a level of determination? I looked across at her, and I could see it in her eye. There was just a level of determination. She said, I'm going first. She's walked straight up to this structure, straight through the board. And everyone in the group's gone, yay! Well done, well done, well done! And she got up to it again, and she went straight through, and this time she put her hands through the board without taking it off. The next week she enrolled in an accounting course. And she started to do the books at home. So the interesting thing is how people can have these breakthroughs. Hand down here. And see it, my hand.